There are places on Earth where even the bravest climbers turn back. Places so remote, so forbidden, and so lethal that no human being has ever stood upon their summits. They exist in silence, high above the clouds, beyond the reach of roads, drones, and even ambition itself. We've conquered Everest. We've mapped the deepest oceans. We've walked on the moon, but in the corners of our own planet, there are still giants untouched by humankind. From the sacred mountains of Tibet to the icy fortresses of the Karakoram, these are the highest mountains no one has ever climbed, each one a monument to mystery, danger, and the limits of human will. These peaks are not simply unclimbed, they are unconquerable. In the remote eastern Himalayas, where the borders of Bhutan and China twist through mist and myth, rises a mountain so pure, so forbidden, that it has become legend, Gangkhar Puensum. It stands 7,570 meters high, the highest unclimbed mountain on Earth. Its name means White Peak of the Three Spiritual Brothers. Locals believe deities live upon its ridges. In the 1980s, a few teams tried to climb it from the Chinese side, but storms, sickness, and confusion forced them back every time. Then, in 1994, Bhutan banned all climbs above 6,000 meters, out of respect for its sacred mountains. In 2003, the ban became total. And just like that, Gangkhar Puensum was sealed off forever. Not by weather, not by danger, but by belief. No human footprint, no summit photo, no flag. Only wind, ice, and the whisper of prayer flags far below. In a world obsessed with reaching the top, Bhutan made a different choice, to protect what's unreachable. Across the border in Tibet, another giant looms over a sea of glaciers, Labuche Kang III, also called Labuche Kang East. It rises to 7,250 meters, part of a vast massif, riddled with crevasses and blue ice caverns. Nearby peaks have been climbed, but this one remains untouched, partly because of its savage terrain, partly because of politics. The ridges twist like blades. The snowpack shifts beneath your boots, and avalanches thunder across its flanks without warning. Few expeditions even bother applying for permits. Tibet's climbing rules change constantly, and access is often closed without explanation. In a land where the air itself feels thin with secrecy, Labuche Kang III watches quietly, its summit still unseen. Far to the west, in one of the most dangerous regions on Earth, lies Apsarasas Kangri I, 7,143 meters of untouched snow and rock buried in the Siachen region of the eastern Karakoram. This is not just any mountain. It stands inside the world's highest battlefield, where India and Pakistan's armies face off year-round on frozen glaciers. Even if you could survive the cold, you'd never survive the paperwork. No one has ever reached its top. No one probably ever will. The entire region is sealed off by military restrictions and buried under constant avalanches. Its name, home of the celestial nymphs, feels almost ironic. There's nothing angelic about its storms. Here, even gods would need oxygen tanks. Traveling southeast, the Himalayas grow wilder still. At the crossroads between Bhutan and Tibet stands Tongshanjiabu, a ghostly pyramid 7,207 meters tall. It might be the most mysterious of them all. No known attempts, no climbing routes, no official photos from anywhere near its summit. It's as if the mountain doesn't want to exist in human memory at all. Hidden behind shifting clouds and restricted zones, it's rarely visible even from the air. For those who believe mountains hold spirits, Tongshanjiabu feels like proof. For those who don't, it's a humbling reminder that even today, parts of the planet remain unknowable. But the most haunting stories often belong to the mountains that almost gave in. Just north of Tongshanjiabu rises Karjiang South, 7,221 meters of brittle ice, and shifting snow. In 2001, a Japanese expedition came within sight of the summit. They stopped less than 200 meters from the top. Their ropes anchored into cracking ice that trembled underfoot. They could see it. The final ridge. The final few minutes to glory. But the slope beneath them began to crumble. They turned back. That decision saved their lives. No one has ever returned since. To this day, Karjiang South Summit remains untouched, guarded by weather so violent that it can turn daylight into pitch black within minutes. It's a mountain that almost let humanity in, but decided otherwise. Beyond these borders, deep within the icy maze of the Karakoram, stands Apsarasas Kangri I, 7,134 meters high. Nameless to most of the world. No official ascent, no recorded attempt, barely any photographs. It sits between Pakistan and China, in one of the most inaccessible corners of the planet. It is so remote that reaching its base would take weeks of travel across glacial wastelands, where compasses spin and maps turn blank. Satellite imagery shows vast ridges and frozen plateaus, but no human has ever confirmed them in person. Apsarasas Kangri is a riddle written in snow, a mountain that may never even care whether we solve it. Not all unclimbed peaks are dangerous in a physical sense. Some are untouchable for far deeper reasons. In western Tibet rises Mount Kailash at 6,638 meters. Unlike Everest or K2, Kailash is not known for danger. It's known for divinity. Hindus, Buddhists, Jains, and Bon followers all consider it sacred, the spiritual axis of the world, the throne of the gods. 4 of Asia's great rivers begin in its shadow: the Indus, Sutlej, Brahmaputra, and Karnali. Climbers have approached its base, but never dared to go further. In 2000, a Spanish expedition was rumored to have received permission to attempt it. They declined. They believed some summits should remain pure. Today, the Chinese government bans all climbing on Kailash, but it's a ban that barely matters. No serious climber would defy it. For over 1,000 years, pilgrims have walked 52 kilometers around its base, never once touching the summit. It's said that climbing it would disrupt cosmic balance, and so it remains perfect. The most intentionally unclimbed mountain in the world. In the far northern Karakoram of Pakistan, another monster rises, Muchu Chhish, at 7,452 meters. For decades, it's been considered the highest unclimbed legal mountain on Earth. Unlike Gangkhar Puensum or Kailash, it's not forbidden by religion or law, just by sheer brutality. The slopes are walls of vertical rock layered with unstable snow. The ridges are razor sharp and constantly collapsing. Climbers have tried in 2014, 2019, and 2020, but none have reached the top. Those who've attempted it describe avalanches that erase entire camps and winds so strong they tear ropes from anchors. One team called it a mountain that eats time. They spent 45 days trying to reach its summit and still fell 1,000 meters short. Muchu Chhish remains possible on paper, impossible in practice, a living monument to the limits of what human beings can endure. East of the Karakoram, deep inside Tibet, lies Bairiga, also known as Ruoni. At 6,182 meters, it's not the tallest of these giants, but perhaps the most forgotten. There are no climbing records, no documented expeditions, not even high-resolution photos of its upper ridges. The terrain surrounding Bairiga is a maze of glaciers and cliffs. Reaching its base would mean crossing weeks of desolation, guided only by satellite images and prayer. It is the kind of mountain that makes explorers feel small before they even begin. When you look at it from afar, it seems to exist in another dimension. A fortress of ice, preserved by obscurity itself. And finally, in the far east of the Himalayas, standing between the sacred giant Kangchenjunga and the misty ridges of Sikkim, towers Zemu Gap Peak at 7,580 meters. It's the highest unclimbed mountain in India, surrounded by political borders, sacred landscapes, and sheer technical madness. No one has ever stood at its top. Access is nearly impossible. The region is restricted due to its proximity to Tibet, and permits are almost never granted. Even if they were, climbers would face ice walls that rise thousands of meters, frequent avalanches, and thin air that makes breathing itself a challenge. It stands between two worlds, one of ambition and one of reverence. All these mountains share something deeper than danger. They share resistance. In their silence, they push back against human obsession. They are reminders that the world does not exist for us to conquer. It exists for us to understand. In the climbing community, the word unclimbed once meant opportunity, a blank spot waiting for glory. Today, it feels more like a warning label. Each of these peaks stands as a message carved in snow, that there are still places meant to remain pure, unsullied, unphotographed, unclaimed. Some remain untouched because they are sacred, others because they are too deadly, a few because the people who live beneath them believe the gods would rather be left alone. And maybe they're right, because when you think about it, not every summit needs a footprint, not every map needs a line, and not every mountain needs a conqueror. When the sun rises over Gangkhar Puensum, the world's highest unclimbed mountain, no climber greets it, no flag waves in the wind. Only the mountain itself, glowing gold in the thin morning light. When storms roll across Muchu Chhish, no rope hangs from its cliffs, no headlamp cuts through the darkness. Only silence, the sound of ice cracking in the void. And when pilgrims circle the base of Mount Kailash, they do not climb. They walk, slowly, reverently, knowing that some summits are not meant to be taken, but worshipped. These are Earth's last untouched summits, its final mysteries, proof that even in our modern age, when every mountain seems mapped and measured, the planet still keeps secrets from us. We may have climbed the highest peaks, but the greatest ones still belong only to the wind. If you've made it this far, you've already climbed higher than most. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us next time as we uncover more of Earth's hidden giants. Until then, keep exploring, keep wondering, and remember, the greatest summits are not the ones we conquer, but the ones that humble us.